Viewers, I welcome you all for this today's session on highway geometric design. I am Ashok Kumar, Assistant Professor, Department of Civil Engineering, Walchand Institute of Technology, Solapur. Learning outcome of this today's session: at the end of the lecture, students will be able to identify various cross-section elements of highways and their importance in geometric design of highways. In the previous session, we have seen the importance of the geometric design and factors influencing the geometric design. Now we will see the continuation of that. We will study some of the other cross-section elements and others, the parameters like camber, side distance in future classes. Now one of the important parameter as a cross-section element on highway is pavement surface characteristics. Basis on this only, we are able to decide what kind of the surface we have to provide, whether it may be a concrete road or it may be the type of the surface like bituminous concrete or any other the type of the surface layers. So it is purely depends on the some of the parameters like availability of materials and funds, volume and composition of a traffic. So depending upon that, we are could able to decide whether to go for flexible pavement or a rigid pavement or any other the unsurfaced roads also. So here and other parameters are the property of a subgrade, climatic conditions and construction facilities, and also cost is an important parameter. So now to decide this pavement surface type, one of the important parameters are this friction, unevenness, light reflecting characteristics and drainage of the surface water. Basis on this also, these are the important parameter in deciding the what kind of the surface we have to choose it for the construction. Now first we'll go with the friction. As we know that we have two types of the friction, that is lateral friction and longitudinal friction. So let us see that these two frictions. So first of all, the side friction is the lateral friction. Specifically, it's the friction between the tire and the road surface, which is taken at right angles to the line of the vehicle. So you can see that this is what the lateral friction. So this helps for vehicle to negotiate this curve smoothly. Along with the friction, if you have the super elevation also, you can see that this raising is also done with respect to the inner edge. So this is what we call as super elevation. So now we have a super elevation and lateral friction. So both combined together act to prevent the skidding of the vehicle on the outside or to counteract our centrifugal force. So this is the important parameter. Lateral friction or side friction is available in this direction. So generally, it ranges between 0.11 to 0.19 and slightly depends on the vehicular speed as mentioned by the ASTO code. Another one is longitudinal friction. So in this direction, when vehicle is moving in this direction, we have the longitudinal friction, or it is also called as rolling friction. It is tangential to the curve of the road. So this friction provides the resistance against the skidding when vehicle is skidding applied the brake, and this friction opposite of that, it try to prevent the vehicle to stop in a shorter distance. So vehicle is accelerated or deaccelerated. So this friction is used in finding out when we are deriving the equation for the stopping side distance, we use the longitudinal friction. So when we are calculating the super elevation, we are entirely depending upon this lateral friction. So this in calculating the stopping side distance, we take it as around 0.35 as the coefficient of friction. So another two important parameters are skid and slip. So many of us get confused in what is skid and what is slip. So here the path travel along the road surface is more than the circumferential moment of the wheel due to friction. So here you can see that when we have the path travel along the road surface is more than the circumferential moment of the wheels. You applied the brake and you see that the moment of the wheel is more than the circumferential moment of the wheels due to the friction. That is called as a skid. So it happens for a length of along the length of our vehicle, along the length of the road. And slip happens on only one place. So skid happens for a certain distance. You applied the brake over here, and after having a skid marks, your vehicle is going to stop. So whatever that skid marks, what we have, that what we call as a skid. And slip happens on one place, that is not over a distance. The skid happens over a distance. The slip happens only on one place. So distance the object is moving over one place, and slip is due to the lack of friction. So if there is any material comes in between, so here you can say that there is an the hydroplane or the water is contacted between the tire and the our road surface. Now the vehicle is the wheel is revolving in over at one place. So due to that, the vehicle is not moving in the further direction. So it is revolving over here itself. So due to that, we are get that the movement is over here itself. So mainly due to the any material comes in between the tire and the surface. That is what we call as slip. So these two parameter makes us to define the coefficient of friction F. Now the important parameter affecting this friction or skid resistance, you can see that the type of the surface, cement concrete or bituminous pavement, or cement concrete or bituminous pavement have a little bit of lesser coefficient of friction because it is having a smooth surface. If you come to the unsurfaced like WBM and earth surface have a higher friction because it is doesn't have any good surfacing course at the top layer, and texture of the macro texture of the pavement also, and condition of the pavement, namely whether the pavement is wet or dry, or if there is any oil spilled on the surface, or a mud is there, or a dry sand is there. So it is all decreases or increases the our coefficient of friction. So especially if the oil is spilled, obviously we cannot able to stop the vehicle, and we have a less coefficient of friction on oil spilled surface. Same way, type and tire condition, whether the tire condition is good. If the tire condition is good, we have a good treads of the tire, and with that we can able to stop the vehicle as early as possible. So if it is a worn out or a bald tire, we cannot stop the vehicle within a shorter distance. It depends on the speed of the vehicle. As the speed increases, we have a less coefficient of friction, and depends upon the what kind of the brake efficiency you are maintaining your vehicle. And the coefficient of friction increases slightly with increase in the temperature and also tire pressure, also as well as load. So these are the some of the factors influencing the our coefficient of friction or skid resistance. So we have the code specified that the for stopping side distance we should use the coefficient of friction as a 0.35 or 0.4. We have already seen in the previous slide. In the longitudinal friction, we use this 0.35 and 0.4. So designing of horizontal curve, we use it 0.15. That is particularly for the super elevation design, we use it this 0.15. That is what we call as lateral friction. And expressways, we provide a 0.1 to 0.11. You can think over here. You can pause the video and think why the coefficient of friction provided lesser for the expressways. You can think for that. I hope you are able to give the answer for this, because expressways always runs up with the high speed 100 to 120 kmph. If you are maintaining high friction over there, then it reduces the your speed of the vehicle, as well as the wear and tear of the vehicle, or maintenance cost of the vehicle will get, vehicle operating cost of the vehicle will get increases. So that is the reason we have to maintain less friction to have high speed on the expressways. Another important parameter of the surface characteristics is pavement unevenness. So you can see from the picture, this undulations on the road surface is happening along the vehicle movement as well as on the transverse direction also. So this always we would like to maintain the road on a even surface, because we have to maintain the high speed, less vehicle operating cost, less maintenance. So in that condition, we always try to maintain the road surface in an even condition. So, or to have a good riding comfort for fast moving vehicles, or to minimize the vehicle operating cost. But due to some reasons, the undulations forms on the road surface, whether it may be along the road surface or transverse direction also. So this the causes the increase in discomfort and fatigue of the driver as well as the passengers traveling in the vehicle, and also very importantly the wear and tear of the vehicle, and this increases the maintenance cost or vehicle operating cost, and the speed will always reduces, and sometimes you may end up with an accident also due to the more of undulations in the transverse direction as well as in the longitudinal direction. So the causes of the unevenness, you can see that it is due to the improper compaction of the layers. It may be surface improper compaction, or particularly the subgrade or base layers you have not properly compacted, or the unscientific construction practices, use of boulder stones over a loose subgrade. So this might be the unscientific method also causes the unevenness. And inferior pavement materials, poor quality materials, improper surface and subsurface drainage, because drainage is important parameter in all the pavement. So, and poor maintenance practices. So maintenance has to be regularly and periodically we have to do the maintenance. So these are the reasons for unevenness of the pavement. We have important equipments to measure the unevenness. Widely in the country, we are using various equipments. Some of the important equipments are this meter edge. We are going to put this meter edge of width 3 meter, and wherever this the undulations are happened, unevenness happened, so we can insert these wedges and measure the what is the depth of this unevenness happened on the surface. And importantly, we are using bump integrator, that is fifth wheel bump integrator. It measures the unevenness in per kilometer. We have this, it is also called as a towing vehicle. We are going to tow this vehicle on a four-wheeler and measure the unevenness along the road surface. And another one, we are going to use the ROMDAS also, that is road measurement data acquisition system. Nowadays, we are using network survey vehicle to measure this all the road condition parameters, all this parameter using network survey vehicle. So this is the simple specifications we are carrying out. This fifth wheel bump integrator is towed to this Jeep, and this panel indicator is installed in this vehicle, and wherever this vehicle moves along the undulations, those the undulations are cumulatively measured in the panel, and that will be recorded in per kilometer. Or you can fix the interval, say 200 meter or 300 interval. Cumulatively, you can get the what are the undulations for the next 300 meter or 1000 meter also. So we have to run the vehicle speed at 32 kmph, and you can see that the tire pressure we have to maintain is 2.1 kg per centimeter square. So it is measured bumps in centimeter corresponding to the road length. As I told you, you may fix the 200 meter or 1 kilometer length to measure these bumps. And also we are using this network survey vehicle. This year, the CRRI has developed this equipment, network survey vehicle. We can measure the roughness value, undulations value, rut depth also we can measure, pavement texture, road geometry, then GPS, the coordinates, then video of the entire road stretch. All these distresses, various cracks and roughness values, all things can be measured using this network survey vehicle. For a good pavement, we should maintain this undulations or roughness value. For a good pavement, it is 1500 mm per kilometer, and it is for a fair, we have to see that 2500 mm per kilometer, and poor 3500 mm per kilometer. So if it goes for the poor, then we have to go for reconstruction or a maintenance activity for that pavement. Light reflecting characteristics is very important because during the night, it is due to the visibility we get an issue, and night visibility depends on the color and light reflecting characteristics. So headlight is considerably high on wet surface than on the dry pavement. So particularly this black top pavement provides the poor visibility compared to our white pavement or concrete pavement. So concrete pavement reduces the glare as well as it provides the good visibility during the night. So these are some of the important parameters in deciding the surface characteristics. These are the references I have used. Thank you.